Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
What's going on, Cougar fans? Kayla McLeod and Dave Dimeling right here inside Geisman Gymnasium as we get ready for another Cougar women's basketball game, taking on non-conference opponent Lake Forest College. Dave joining me once again, and Dave, we've got ourselves a really fantastic game here today between two pretty evenly paired teams. Concordia still looking for their first win of the season. On the flip side, the Foresters, they're 1-4, so they're hungry to keep that momentum going. Looks like we're going to have ourselves a good game today.
Absolutely, Kayla. You look at two pretty evenly matched teams if you're looking at the stat sheet. Obviously, we know the game isn't played on the stat sheet, so we're going to have to see what these 40 minutes got to offer for us.
Absolutely, and with that, the Cougars, like I said, they're looking for their first win of the season, and no better place to do that than in Geisman right before a holiday break. So looking at these two teams, what needs to get done on the floor to see the Cougars pick up their first win today?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we're going to see for the Cougars is they kind of have a lot of moving parts going on. They're starting to find those pieces that they're looking for between their 5 to 7 girls. They're really starting to find a lot of minutes. So at the end of the day, for those girls, it's about staying out of foul trouble. You kind of look back at their past 5 games, they're a very aggressive team, which leads to maybe a few more turnovers, than they like, and also a few more fouls than they want. So they got to kind of wrap that up, keep it a little cleaner game, and that'll get them their first win.
Absolutely, and you mentioned staying out of foul trouble. That's one of the keys of today's game for the Cougars, and with that, the Cougars, they've already had 2 players that have fouled out this season. The Foresters, they've been able to keep their fouls in check. They haven't had anybody foul out this season, and like you mentioned, the Cougars have just 5 to 7 kind of key components there, so making sure that you're staying within that range of fouls is going to be a huge component there. Looking at Lake Forest too, one of those big things that we're going to need to see out of them today is taking advantage of that. And you mentioned the turnover piece. Lake Forest, they have a lot of turnovers per game. They average quite a bit, and so for them being able to control those turnovers and take advantage of the Cougars maybe getting a little bit too aggressive on the defensive end, that's going to be a key as well.
Absolutely. You talk about that offensive glass. The glass overall, that's also going to be a very big part of the day, because what CUC's been lacking a little bit of size so far this year, but they're getting a big piece right now. Abby Coolidge coming back, making her first appearance of the year, so we'll see if that can kind of help with them by getting that man in the middle if they need.
Absolutely. You mentioned that Abby Coolidge making her first appearance of the season. She's been a key component of this Cougar squad the last 2 seasons, bringing that size in the paint, and as well as just some of that seniority and that leadership. She's a junior this year, so making her return to the court is going to be huge. And talking about what that can look like on the glass, you know, a key for the Foresters for today's game is going to be outworking the Cougars on the glass, and having Abby in there is going to be a hard piece for them to kind of disrupt a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what she's got to offer. I assume with first game of the year for her, she's probably going to have a little bit of restrictions on the minutes, but we'll see what Coach Lauren's got in mind for her.
Absolutely. Taking a look at another one of those keys of the games for the Cougars, it's going to be capitalizing on the turnovers. The Foresters, they're averaging 20-plus turnovers per game, but on the flip side of that, the Cougars, they're only averaging around 8 points off of turnovers. So being able to capitalize on those turnovers that they're forcing and doing a nice job of that, that's going to be a key in getting the Cougars on the board today.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that Coach Lauren's been doing a good job implementing throughout this year so far is just kind of being able to flush those mistakes that they make, whether it's on the offensive side or the defensive side. If they're able to get going and get a little bit of run going on when the other team's making mistakes, that's going to help them a lot today.
Absolutely. Now, let's flip gears a little bit. Let's talk personnel. We already talked a little bit about having Abby Coolidge back in the rotation for the Cougars, but another piece that's been moving really well for the Cougars is freshman Nevaeh Jackson.
Absolutely. That's the name that you're going to want to hear a whole lot more this year. She hasn't had any starts just yet, kind of one of those freshmen just still finding her way up through the ranks, but I mean, when she's out on the floor, it is a huge impact. She finds a way to the rack every time.
Absolutely. That's going to be a key for the Foresters to try to be able to shut down and take advantage of her inexperience a little bit. She's a freshman. She's still kind of getting her feet wet in the collegiate game. You mentioned it. No starts yet on the season, so just starting to kind of find her groove, and the Foresters needing to understand that and attack that. Taking a look on the flip side for the Foresters, one of their key players, Sarah Mills, not dressing here today, unfortunately, so all the prep that the Cougars might have been doing to try to attack one of their best players isn't going to be, you know, plausible today. But what does that look like for the Foresters, and how people are going to have to step up and make that adjustment?
Yeah, absolutely, Kayla. You mentioned both sides of that issue with kind of how both teams are going to kind of compete with it. Lake Forest, obviously, it's a lot tougher situation for them. They're going to have to find a way to spread the love just a little bit more. Maybe one player finds a way to step up and get their opportunity tonight. As you kind of seen, there hasn't been a whole lot of things going right for them as they're only 1-4, but maybe you get a bright side out of this, someone has their shining moment tonight.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned, Mills not dressing tonight, but when you look at the stat sheet for Lake Forest, they are pretty well spread out. There is a lot of that wealth that is already being shared. You know, the gaps between their leading scorers are not very large, so they've got a lot of these key components, and seeing people that can already kind of, you know, step up and back and forth where needed. Now we're just going to have to see that on a little bit of a bigger scale for the Foresters here. So as we get ready, we are about 3 minutes away from a tip-off. Me and Dave will be on the call with you all night tonight, so make sure that you stay tuned. Cougar basketball right here inside Geisman Gymnasium. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network for some women's basketball action inside Geisman Gymnasium. I'm Kayla McLeod, joined by Dave Deimling here. As we mentioned on the pregame show, we've got ourselves a battle here inside Geisman. Two pretty evenly matched up teams getting ready to pair off. As a little conversation with the officials ahead of time before we get the jump ball. But let's take a look at these starting lineups for the Foresters. They're going to be going from left to right on your screen. It looks like we have an administrative technical to start the game. So an administrative tech to start the game. And that's going to put Yone Mera at the line to shoot one to start the game. We're going to start this off 1-0. So I'm not quite sure what that administrative tech resulted or what caused it. I don't know if you saw. I know there's a conversation ahead of time.
I did not see in the pregame if there was anything that could have led to that, but I'm sure we'll get clarification at some point from the refs.
So Lake Forest winning the tip ball there. I know that there was a conversation at the table. I'm assuming there was something with the book, but a nice early look there for Baitland and no good. A great cut there, but we were in the middle of some starting lineups there. Like a little administrative tech caught us a little bit off guard. So getting back to our starting lineups for the Foresters. Like I said, they're in their black road uniforms with red trim going left to right on your screen. Mia DeGrasse, Correa Baitland, Annika Kinnear, Ariana Ferreira Torlaba, and Riley Creselius. As first bucket is in for the Cougars, and they are up 3-0. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Cougars. They're wearing their home white uniforms going from left to right on your screen. Number 0, Kira Holiday. Number 5, Abby Dykstra. Number 10, Hannah Lopez. Number 11, Grace King. And number 12, Yone Mera. As a corner three here, no good. Lopez with the rebound. Cougars looking to move quick in transition. A wide open Dykstra in the corner. No good. Rebound into the hands of Lopez. Hannah Lopez, she's a rebounding machine for this Cougar squad.
Absolutely, Kayla. I think one of the things that we can kind of hope to see again today is maybe getting those double-digit rebounds like she did earlier this season, just a few games ago.
Lopez, one of the top rebounders on this CUC team. She's got 30 so far on the season, just 2 behind Grace King. As the shot clock's winding down, 3 to go. Holiday puts it up, no good. That's going to be a shot clock violation. Lake Forest a ball here. Rebound was into the hands of Kinnear. Not quite sure why they didn't let them play that one through, but regardless, Forester's ball here.
Yeah, I think the Cougars are satisfied with not allowing a transition opportunity right there.
Some tough defense from Yone Mera. The feed inside, and the hook shot up and in from Creselius. Yeah, and that's going to put them on the board first.
A little bit of a scoop hook almost. That was oddly shot, but it works all the same.
Getting some points inside the paint while she's got a little bit of a size advantage over King is going to be a big key here for this Forester squad, as Yone Mera's 3, no good. Holiday with the rebound. The feed inside to King. She's going to be able to get that one around the corner and in for 2. The feed inside, rejected by King, but Creselius is able to hold on to it. Can't finish the layup. Lopez with the rebound. Cougars moving fast in transition. Yone Mera back to King. And that's a great transition bucket there, moving the ball around, some unselfish basketball here inside Geisman.
That's exactly what the Cougars are looking for right there. If they can get out in transition early, win those 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, they're going to be putting themselves in a really good spot today.
I mean, you mentioned it. It's kind of that 3-on-1, 1-on-2. You know, it's like the drills that you're doing. The most basic drills that you can be doing is exactly that, and the Cougars just capitalized on it as the drive in from DeGrasse. No good. Cougars coming away with it. Have some numbers, but Dykstra slowing down. Yone Mera here outside the three-point line. Cutting here, baseline. She's taking an off-balance jumper that goes up and in somehow, and that's going to force a timeout from the Foresters. Head coach of the Foresters, Tamalyn Tills, not happy with the start to this game, and I can't blame her for the way the Cougars have come out so far tonight.
Yeah, they look really smooth so far to start things off. One of the things that I'm also seeing overall is just based on the eye test, which obviously doesn't tell the whole story, but you take a look at it, CUC really has the size advantage on comfortably 3 to 4 of those matchups, and I think that's going to be helping them a ton as far as just overall rebounds go, and that's kind of one of those things that CUC had to keep a focus on, a little circle on that one. So we'll obviously keep an eye on that one as we go throughout this match, but so far just taking a gander at it, it looks way more comfortable, and they're very smooth on the box outs as well.
Absolutely, and you're taking a look at it, and your biggest size matchup here is inside the paint. You've got Grace King. She's battling 5'8" is what she's listed on the roster as, battling against Riley Crecelius, who's listed at 5'10". But the difference is Grace King plays like she's 6'5". She does not play like she's 5'8". She's battling in there, and that's making that a tough matchup for Crecelius.
Not only that, but she's also very smooth with the vocals inside the paint, kind of being that leadership role on defense, and it really is fun to watch how she kind of controls the paint overall.
We're going to get our first sub of the day here coming in, number 21, Jamie Springstead, senior out of Bradenton, Florida, checking in here. 20 on the shot clock for the Foresters. The cut here, lost into the hands of Lopez. A little batted around. That ball's going to be loose, and we're going to get a jump ball in favor of the Cougars after the Foresters won the tip. Really good defense there from Lopez to be able to bat that ball away, and even though it kept it in motion, Cougars still able to come away with it. Under 6 minutes to play here in the first quarter. CUC up 9-2. Yone Mera on the wing. Feeds it up to Lopez, over to Holiday. Holiday back up to Dykstra. Dykstra thought about pulling the three, instead puts the ball on the ground. Yone Mera with under 10 now. Little hezzy stutter step driving in, no good. Rebound goes to Crecelius. The kick out here to DeGrasse. Over to Ferreira Toralaba. The kick right back out to DeGrasse is good! A big-time three for Mia DeGrasse, and that's going to put the Foresters within reach. Even just a three-pointer there just makes that feel like a less of a gap. When you've only got 2 points on the board, it really feels like that game starts to get a little bit sped up because you're a little bit desperate sometimes for those points. So a big-time three there just gives a little bit more of a comfortable breath of fresh air for the Foresters.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things that you were kind of seeing, too, is the desperation, kind of a little bit more weight on the shoulders. Now they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable overall. As it also ends that 6-0 scoring run that CUC had as well.
Missed three there, hands things right back over to the Cougars. Dykstra here on the wing. Holiday in the corner, looks to feed King inside, but instead goes right into the hands of Ferreira Toralaba. As the foul there, I believe Dykstra got Kinnear. A nice little shot fake from Annika Kinnear. And that's going to bring a flurry of subs in here. Baitlin checking back in for the Foresters. And some fresh faces for CUC. Checking in number 21, Jocelyn Chamas, number 22, Lindley Southern, and number 23, Nevaeh Jackson. First free throw, no good for Kinnear.
Yeah, we'll see if those fresh faces can kind of help with that little bit of a scoring drought for CUC. Haven't found the bottom of the net in a handful of possessions, so we'll see if that can kind of change things.
9-6, Cougars still lead inside Geisman. Southern the ball in the paint, kicks out to Jackson. Jackson cutting inside, she's gonna make her way through traffic, but that's gonna be rejected by the Foresters into the hands of Baitlin. Coming down, she pulls it out outside the three. Swings the ball over to Springstead. Here's DeGrasse for three, no good, into the hands of Yone Mera. Jackson's pass is rejected, broken up by Springstead into the hands of DeGrasse. DeGrasse looks to find Kinnear, but Southern gets a hand on it. And some more substitutions coming in for the Foresters. Megan Vassell now entering the game for the first time today. She's the tallest listed on the roster for Lake Forest. As that's going to be 2 free throws for Jamie Springstead. Southern's first foul here in the game. Springstead's first free throw is good. She's shooting just about 56% on the season. Looking to bring the Foresters within one here. And she does. So quickly how things and momentum have changed inside Geisman. 9-8 Cougars still lead, but CUC been on a scoring drought of nearly 3 minutes now. The kick out to Chamas. No good. Rebound into the hands of the Foresters. Coming down quick, and Jackson's going to get called for the foul. And Dave, I hate to say it, but this is exactly what we were talking about in the pregame show is CUC, they like to play fast and aggressive defense, but we're seeing some of those fouls come to fruition here. I mean, looking at the board, 3 fouls already against the Cougars, none against the Foresters. Needing to kind of keep that in check a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of them are a little bit allowed where you can kind of accept them when they're points in the paint and they're force them to earn them at the line, but one like that for Jackson's just kind of a ticky-tacky one that's doesn't really get you anything. It's just you're out of position. You kind of didn't really give him anything for that, so that's kind of just a worthless foul, unfortunately.
A nice little pick and roll there into the hands of Vassell. Can't finish with the layup, and they're going to get Kinnear on the foul. And that's going to bring another fresh face in for the Cougars in number 55, Sophia Pedraza. 9-8, under 3 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Yone Mera's got the ball at the top of the key. She's going to pull for 3. No good. Into the hands of Pedraza. Kicks over to Southern. Southern out to Lopez. Lopez, she's got some space cutting into the middle. She finds her way through traffic, and she's going to get 2 free throws here. I believe they are going to get Kinnear for the foul. And that's going to be Kinnear's second foul in a matter of a minute, essentially. Lopez now at the line.
And Lopez getting a little lucky on that foul call right there. Kind of looked like she was just a tad bit out of control. Lost her handle on the ball, but gets rewarded nonetheless. So we'll see if she can at least find one right there. And she does.
Some more subs coming in on both sides. Checking back in for the Foresters, Mia DeGrasse, and checking in for the first time this season, number 4, Abby Kulig. Cougars lead by 2 with under 2.5 to play in the quarter, needing to get a stop here. Here's DeGrasse driving across, and that's going to be rejected by Abby Kulig. Welcome back.
You love to see that as part of the CUC faithful right there. There's been so many moments through her first half of her career of so many swats. Just how fitting to her first play back on this season to be one like that.
Absolutely, as that long ball misses into the hands of Southern. Lopez coming down with it. Kulig on the wing. She's going to find Lopez making the cut. A little bit off balance, and it goes in! I'm not quite sure how that went in, but a little bit of an off-balance shot with just enough spin makes for a pretty play.
Yeah, it just looked like a little bit of the flick of the wrist right there for Lopez, but whatever it takes to find the bottom of the net, we'll take it.
The cut there, rejected by Lopez. Baseline drive here from Crecilius. She's going to find Vassell at the elbow. No good. Rebound into the hands of Kulig. Cougars looking to push fast in transition, but Forrester's already set in their defense. Kulig thought about pulling for a three for a second. Instead, settles things back down. Pedraza kicks out to Lopez. Lopez cutting back. Southern, another little pump fake and drive, and then Lopez is going to have her hand at a three. No good. Southern makes the diving attempt for a rebound. No good. Forrester's coming down quickly. The cut to a wide open Crecilius is good for two.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how CUC wants to kind of run this offense when you have Kulig and King both out on the floor, as they're two primarily inside players. And last possession, it took them about 20 seconds of the shot clock to get either of them in the paint. So we'll see if they're going to try and focus on a 5-out approach or if they try to work more stuff inside.
As that pass inside results in a kick ball, so we're going to see some subs coming in, but just about 35 seconds here to play in the first quarter. Cougars have 20 on the shot clock, and we're seeing a good wave of subs here. Yone Mera is going to be inbounding the ball for the Cougars. Geisman getting a bit quiet. The handoff to Yone Mera. She's going to try to cut her way inside. Hands off to Lopez. Back to Kulig. Over to Yone Mera at the top of the three-point line. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Uses the screen. A little bit of a back and forth. Finds Kulig out. Kulig for three. No good. Rebound into the hands of the Foresters. Shot clock officially turned off. Things moving very quickly here as the corner three, no good, into the hands of Lopez. 5 on the shot clock. They're pushing tempo. Yone Mera, she's got one to shoot. A deep three is good! Yone Mera, the bank is open!
What a way to cap off the first quarter right there.
Oh my goodness, Cougars up by 5 at the end of the first quarter. Yone Mera keeping that momentum high for the Cougars. While these two teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well right here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network for the start of quarter number 2. Foresters start out with the ball. Coming down the floor is Ferreira Torlaba. Some tight defense from the Cougars. They kick out here to Springstead. Looks to feed Torlaba again. Up top, here's DeGrasse. Foresters looking to get some movement going inside. They've got a 5-out approach, and then we're seeing some cuts there, and that's going to result in a turnover for Lake Forest. Cougars coming down quickly. Yone Mera kicks out for Dykstra, but Springstead gets back into position. But Dykstra hits the three regardless! Hand down, man down. Abby Dykstra will make you pay. 18-10 here inside Geisman. The drive here, no good from Ferreira Torlaba. Yone Mera now with the ball for the Cougars. Lopez swings it over to Pedraza. Pedraza cutting inside. She finds Yone Mera at the top of the key. Yone Mera with plenty of space, so she's going to take a three herself. Bingo, bango, bongo! Yone Mera and the Cougars are hot. Another timeout at the hands of Tamalin Tills. CUC comes out firing on all cylinders to start the second quarter, and they've got a 21-10 lead here.
Yeah, they might be running away with it in a little bit here. We'll see. We'll see.
Looking at these two teams, like I mentioned, head coach of the Foresters, Tamalin Tills, taking another timeout here. But, interesting to look at for these two teams, as Tills is actually a former CUC women's basketball head coach. She spent 7 seasons as the head coach at Concordia, and she's actually the third all-time winningest coach for the women's basketball program here. So coming in here today, this is the first time that these two teams have met up in quite some time now, but it's cool to see a former CUC coach coming in and playing against Concordia.
Yeah, always exciting, especially around the holidays too, just kind of bringing everybody together. Why not?
And I actually got the chance to talk to Coach Tills ahead of today's game, just shooting a little bit around and having a conversation, because I'm a former women's basketball player here at Concordia. She's a former coach here at Concordia, so being able to kind of share the love for CUC and what this place really is and what this program means, it was really cool to hear from the perspective of a coach she's had some success here. She's had some success at Lake Forest, so seeing a well-rounded coach and being able to have a conversation is something that was very valuable. And, this team is off to a little bit of a slow start under her direction here. This is I believe her 18th season as the head coach at Lake Forest. So you're bound to have some peaks and valleys as a head coach, and this year is just one of those slow starts for this squad. But CUC is taking advantage as that long ball up for Pedraza, up and in.
I mean, just a beautiful pass right there from Yone Mera. It's going to go unnoticed, just a standard assist on the stat sheet, but it really was just dropped right in the pocket.
Yone Mera, one of those players that just has that court vision that you can't really teach. You've either got it or you don't, and she's definitely got that court vision, and that was a perfect example as that crossover from Pedraza leads to this three for Dykstra, no good. She's battling for the board, but instead into the hands of DeGrasse. And another turnover for the Foresters.
Canero check back in with those 2 fouls. We'll see if she can kind of hold herself a little bit steadier with these final 8 minutes in the second quarter.
4 turnovers so far today for the Foresters. And that's going to see a full court press in place now, as head coach of the Cougars, Lauren Martin, takes a timeout. Not too happy with how her squad handled that full court press, double teaming Yone Mera, and nobody really noticed on the other side of the floor there, and it resulted in Yone Mera kind of struggling, having to heave the ball up. Looked like they would have avoided the backcourt violation, but I think just trying to reset for a second and handle things might be the tactic here.
Well, now one of the interesting things with Coach Lauren Martin calling that timeout when she did, it's going to make for an interesting situation right here, because I believe the officials are going to mark them in the back court right now with 2 seconds left. So they're probably going to have to put this pass in the front court if they want a shot of continuing this possession.
7:46 here in the second quarter. Lopez inbounding the ball. Yone Mera. Lopez directing pretty much exactly what you just said, Dave. They've got limited time to get the ball in, as that tight face guarding defense from Ferreira Torlaba almost prevented that, but instead a wide open three here for Dykstra. No good. Lopez got her hand on the rebound but knocked it out of bounds, so heading down the other direction for the Foresters. Bateman bringing the ball up for Lake Forest. A wide open three for Ferreira Torlaba is good. A much needed triple there. And the full court pressure is still in place. Dykstra is going to drive in, kick out to Lopez, right back to Dykstra. She thought about pulling for three, instead feeds King inside the paint. King, a little mid-range jumper is good. Grace King, she's so good from that mid-range area. She can be strong right on the block, but that mid-range is somewhere where she's really comfortable. As that three's in and out into the hands of Springstead, and that's going to put her at the line.
Yeah, absolutely. When kind of going back to what you're saying about Grace King, it's very interesting to see a kind of 4-5-ish for them, having so much comfortability on those dribble pull-ups in the mid-range. Just kind of a lost art, especially finding yourself from that range right there, but she makes it look so smooth overall.
Absolutely. Springstead at the line here. Her first free throw is good. No substitutions on this free throw here. Second one, no good. Yone Mera with the rebound. 25-14 in favor of the Cougars. Yone Mera, she's going all the way. She's going to pull up in the paint. Nice little easy jumper for two.
As CUC's obviously getting a little comfortable right now with this sizable lead that they have. The main thing is they got to make sure to keep that tempo and keep that foot on the gas. Last thing you want is to have that 13-point lead erased and find yourself in the fourth quarter with a tie game when you thought you had it in the second.
Absolutely. Under 10 on the shot clock for Torlaba. She's got the ball. She feeds it over to DeGrasse. Tight defense from Yone Mera. Here's Baitland, kicks it back out. The shot is up, no good, into the hands of Grace King. King and Pedraza fired up. The Cougar bench fired up. Shot clock violation and another turnover for the Foresters. Five turnovers here for Lake Forest.
Yeah, and Coach Lauren and that bench was pretty fired up over that shot clock violation right there. That's just one of those team turnovers that really get everyone excited.
Playing defense that long can be difficult. Forcing a shot clock violation means that you are playing tight defense for the full 30 seconds where they're not even able to get a shot off. So it is one of those really rewarding moments to be able to collect a shot clock violation. And CUC trying to avoid it here. 4 on the shot clock. Jackson, she's got to pull up. Instead, she feeds it out. Yone Mera kicks it out, and it's another shot clock violation right back. I'm not quite sure Jackson had that court awareness that she was running out of time. Kind of spent a few seconds just dribbling there in the paint. Couldn't really turn a corner, couldn't really find an option out, and that's what resulted in that shot clock violation.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of those things that you got to be able to take a look at. That's with the freshman trait. It's just one of those things that come with it, come with the nature of the sport overall. There's a big shot right there for Lake Forest.
Springstead knocking down a 3. Much needed momentum booster here, and the full court press is still in effect. A wide open Dykstra for a corner 3, no good, into the hands of Kinnear. Foresters looking to push it ahead. DeGrasse is coming down quick. Little stutter step, gets right past Holiday. Up and in for 2. And the Foresters stealing a little bit of momentum. Again, the full court press has the Cougars a little bit frazzled here as that pass ahead goes right out of play. As Jackson sent that ball ahead, Holiday not able to collect it. Turnover number 4 for the Cougars. Excuse me, turnover number 5 for the Cougars.
Foresters starting to gather a little bit of momentum here. We'll see how long Coach Martin's willing to let this go if it keeps going in their direction before she burns the timeout.
Kick over here to Springstead. She's going to take a couple dribbles in, guarded by Nickerson. A little give and go action to DeGrasse, and she's going to get fouled and find herself at the line for 2. Nickerson picking up the foul here, her first of the day. DeGrasse at the line. She's 5 for 13 on the season so far. Able to sink that first one. Cougars still lead at 27-20 as DeGrasse misses the second. Rebound goes to Dykstra. Yone Mera here, directing traffic. Kick out to Nickerson, a long 2, no good, into the hands of Jackson. Jackson up and good for 2 and 1. Nevaeh Jackson with a little inadvertent assist there from Nickerson.
And that's kind of that momentum shift that CUC was looking for, find themselves back in a comfortable spot and able to get a 10-point lead back under their belt.
3-point play successful for Jackson, and that's going to bring Grace King back into the game for the Cougars. Bateland bringing the ball down the floor for the Foresters. Finds DeGrasse on the backside, rejected by Yone Mera, and into the hands of Nickerson. 3 Cougars just absolutely became a brick wall down there, not letting anybody through into the paint. Yone Mera here. She's going to take the screen from King, take it back the opposite direction, cuts inside, a little step through, up, and no good. Rebound into the hands of Springstead, and she's going to collect a foul in the process. And that's going to bring Crecilius back into the game for the Foresters.
Yeah, that was one of the few possessions where there truly wasn't any sort of big in the paint right there for Lake Forest, so it was kind of a really good opportunity. Yone Mera obviously trying her hardest right there, but sometimes shots aren't going to go.
DeGrasse taking that all the way through, and she's going to find herself at the line here. I didn't quite see who they called for the foul. It looks like Jackson's called for the foul on that. So DeGrasse at the line for 2 once again. Her first one, no good. 1 for 3 here tonight. Second one, no good as well, but an offensive board for the Foresters. And a foul called with it. I believe Springstead with the board and shot, so that's going to put her at the line for 2. As King picks up her second foul. Springstead this season, she's 5 for 9 from the free throw line, shooting just about 56%. Her first one goes in here.
Yeah, a little bit of a shooter's roll right there. Bring them within 9.
Second one good as well. And that's going to bring Dykstra back in for the Cougars. Full court press here from the Foresters, trying to contain CUC a little bit. Double teaming over on Yone Mera. Lopez loses the handles but collects it once again. Dykstra over to Southern. Southern finds her way in. A couple dribbles into the paint for an easy 2. DeGrasse at the top for the Foresters. Trying to get something in motion here. Kicks it out to Ferreira Torlaba. Feeds over to Crecilius. Back over to DeGrasse. Under 10 on the shot clock. Feed inside to Crecilius. Up and gonna get the foul call. Again, this is something that we mentioned in the pregame show, Dave, is the Cougars being able to control the fouls a little bit. And we talked about it a little bit earlier in quarter number 1 that some of those fouls in the paint, you know, playing strong defense is always a good thing to see, but especially in a game like this where it's so back and forth, the Cougars have a 10-point lead, but realistically we've seen that the Foresters can go on a drive at any moment. Being able to play clean defense in the paint and eliminate their opportunities at the free throw line is going to be key as we progress through this game.
Absolutely, Kayla. I think one of the things you're also seeing is the Foresters have kind of found the ability to get to that charity stripe at will. Fortunately for the Cougars, they're not shooting too well from that, as they're under 60% as a team. So it's kind of been a little bit of luck for CUC, but potentially part of the strategy if that's kind of what they've struggled with going in as well.
Foresters coming down here. DeGrasse moving quickly. She slows things down a little bit, feeds it over to Ferreira Torlaba. High post here for Crecilius. Has it tied up by Yone Mera. And they're going to get Yone Mera for the foul. Yone Mera had her hands on that ball for a long time with no jump ball call, and instead picks up the foul. I'm not liking that call.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit of a frustration right there now, especially when you're kind of adding on the amount of fouls that CUC has had very quickly added up in these last few minutes of this second quarter.
Crecilius at the line. She sinks her first one. Free throw number 2 goes in. And Baitlin checking back in for Lake Forest. Full court press in effect. Cougars are moving quickly. Kulig with plenty of space, left hand up, no good. Rebound goes to Springstead. Baitlin coming down, she goes almost untouched, feeds over to DeGrasse. Little back and forth and a turnover for Lake Forest. CUC bench telling the Cougars to slow things down, take control of this game, control the tempo, and that is exactly what they do. As Yone Mera now walking her way up the court, she's going to stutter step here, kicks out to Dykstra. Dykstra feeds high post for Kulig. Kulig, she's going to take some space around, find it, can't get the layup to go, but gets her rebound up and in for 2. That's just some heart right there, staying with the play, missing the layup. Almost doesn't collect the rebound, but sees that ball's not really secure and then takes it for herself.
Yeah, it kind of just fell right into her hands, but you'll take the free rebound and the bucket at any point.
And right back the other way, Riley Crecilius wide open on the block, and she puts an easy 2 on the board. Yone Mera, she's coming her way through traffic. She gets past like 3 defenders. The kick out to Southern, no good. But Cougars remain with possession here. I honestly don't know how many defenders Yone Mera got past. She was kind of just going wherever she felt like it and drives that in. She really wanted to make that for the and one, but instead she's just going to go to the line for 2.
Yeah, she was kind of slicing and dicing them up. A couple double teams that she's able to split pretty easily, and then tries to find Southern on that baseline jumper, but unable to let it get it to go.
So officially under a minute to play in the half. Yone Mera at the line for 2. Some fresh faces in for the Foresters. Number 10, Alyssa Jones, and number 11, Meadow Rosendahl.
I think we'll also potentially be seeing a little bit of a soft press coming for CUC if Yone Mera is able to make this one.
Second free throw up and good. Pedraza checking in for Yone Mera. Baitlin bringing the ball down. Pedraza, and they're going to leave wide open baseline cut for Springstead. She misses the layup. Cougars coming down quickly. Dykstra feeds up to Holiday. Holiday, little stutter step. She's going to find her way in through traffic, up and no good. Jones with the rebound. Forster's coming down the other direction. Here's Baitlin on the wing. The feed inside, and they're going to call the foul on Southern. It looks like Jones just lost her footing, but they're going to call Southern for the block.
Yeah, and she gets rewarded a shot for it. We'll see if she's able to make that first and earn her second, but
some more fresh faces in for the Foresters. Number 20, Emma Hart, and number 15, Ariana Rodriguez. .1 seconds remaining in the half. 2.1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, as Jones's first free throw is no good. Free throw number 2 is good. Yone Mera with the ball. A little bit of a difference between shot clock and the game clock. Cougars probably looking to run this down as low as they can. Yone Mera with the ball at the top of the key. Cougars sitting stagnant. Yone Mera Drives in, cuts back, and instead she's going to pull for three. And that one is no good. Pedraza coming in quick with the rebound. No good into the hands of Hart. Forsters have the opportunity for the final shot, and they're going to call the foul. Yone Mera called for the block.
Should be her second foul of the game.
That's going to put Emma Hart at the free throw line. Another fresh face checking in for the Forsters, number 33, Isabella Zamora. Hart's first free throws of the season here. First one up and good.
It's just another one of those fouls that kind of just gifting the Forsters a couple points right here. It would have been very tough to get a quality shot off with a little over 4 seconds left for them on that possession.
As the clock is running down, the shot is going to be no good for Dykstra. And that's one of those things that's just a little bit of a difference maker, is the Cougars had the chance to hold that last shot, and instead they rushed that shot, and that gave the Forsters another possession. And it's just unfortunate to see to end the half.
Yeah, absolutely, Kayla. I think one of the things that kind of puts them in an interesting spot overall is just another one of those opportunities where they kind of are a little bit hectic overall, not really – the game speeds up just a tad too much for them, and that kind of results in what you see right there on that possession. So we'll see if CUC is able to clean it up a little bit more in this second half. Well, they'll have 15 minutes to kind of talk it over and see what they can figure out between then.
Yeah, and the Cougars looking to keep this lead. This is one of the first times that we've seen the Cougars hold this lead going into the half, so it's going to be really important to hold that momentum as we come into the second half. But with 15 minutes on the clock, we're going to take a quick break right here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
I do have a regular tutor. I come to see him every Friday. This is something I actually started doing here at Concordia. I never really sought tutoring before.
As the Dean of Students, I work closely with our students here, all the way from orientation through to graduation in a variety of capacities. We have CU Learn up on the second floor of the Christopher Center, which is a great space with some fantastic resources for our students.
This is more of a workspace, a hands-on place. We have small cubicles you can work in that have video screens so you can work on a presentation. You can work with your tutors for content areas.
Here at CU Learn, I tutor natural sciences. For anyone who wants to become a student tutor, it will definitely expand and cement your understanding of the information you already know.
We were friends first, and once she got a job as a tutor, I was like, perfect, I know a tutor. I can go to her for help whenever I need it. I've received help studying and help with writing.
Being a tutor has actually helped me. I think it's kind of shown me where my strengths and weaknesses lie. Kind of complement each other in that sense so we can help each other out.
We've got subject tutors for nearly every subject up there, as well as our writing center. Our writing center is a great resource.
When I assign papers to class, I encourage every student to make sure eyes other than theirs read through the paper. The Writing Center is the first option. I always encourage students to make use of those resources.
Students can actually email their papers to the Writing Center and get feedback. All of our services are both offered in person in the CU Learn space as well as virtual appointments. Students can access Navigate. Navigate allows students to access a large list of resources, kind of where to go for different needs that they might have on campus. The core values of Christian faith, the individual, excellence, integrity, and service. I see CU Learn living those out every day.
All of your academic supports are concentrated in one location. If you need it, we should be able to help you here.
Everyone's goal in college is to succeed, right? To learn. CU Learn's been great support to my students.
It's never a waste to better your education or to strengthen your skills or skills you may not have. It's always good to learn a bit more and never to just sit back and not do anything.
The space itself, it's a really nice study space, large windows, a lot of natural light, a good quiet environment to work.
It's actually helped me learn a lot. Like even these classes that I've taken before, it's definitely enhanced my learning. So it's fun, I keep learning.
Make sure you come in and try it. It'll feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. I felt more comfortable in my studies, completing anything necessary.
It's helped me become better, it's helped me hone those skills, and it's helped me make sure that my writing and my other academic areas are as strong as they can be.
Here on the Cougar Sports Network for some second half action. CUC leading Lake Forest 36-30, but Lake Forest not making it an easy one for the Cougars. We've had a back and forth battle all night tonight. Kayla McLeod joined by Dave Dimling. Dave, what are we looking to see here in the second half?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been quite a thriller so far up to this point, first 20 minutes in, but when we're kind of looking at both teams overall, it's really about Lake Forest kind of keeping that steady pace that they've kind of found themselves having in that second quarter. And for CUC, it's kind of finding that magic that they had in the first quarter where they kind of found themselves nearly doubling Lake Forest throughout that first quarter. So we'll see if both teams can kind of come out and execute, make those proper adjustments with that 15 minutes they had. So we'll see.
Some familiar lineups here to start the second half. I mean, the starting lineup has been effective for the Cougars so far. We've seen a lot of people kind of step up in various areas. Yone Mera, 15 points so far on the night. We've got Grace King at 6 points on the night. But, I mean, the Cougars just really looking to continue that inside and outside game. Dykstra having her chances at three. She's been open quite a bit. She's only managed to hit one, but keeping your shooters hot for the Cougars is going to be what they're looking to do here with the lineup that they've got now.
Yeah, we'll see if the Cougs are able to stay confident on those shots, as you're going to get Dykstra right there.
And an unfortunate miss for Dykstra to start the half. Kinnear with the rebound, but like I said, they're going to look to keep those shooters shooting. DeGrasse kicks over to Crecilius. All the way into the corner for Ferreira Torlaba. The kick back inside the paint for DeGrasse. She's going up, misses that one, gets her own rebound, feeds it back over to Crecilius, and that's up and in for two.
Yeah, really good defense on that first shot. It's just the unfortunate part of giving up that offensive rebound and then a beautiful pass for the Foresters.
And a turnover there for the Cougars. Yone Mera, she's being double-teamed in the backcourt, and she was looking to find someone to feed that ball up to, and just some miscommunication from the Cougars results in that turnover. But that's something that we're probably going to see from the Foresters for the majority of the second half, is keeping that pressure up, especially against Yone Mera. As the kick out here, Ferreira Torlaba's three, no good, batted around into the hands of Baitlin. Feeding inside to Crecilius. Crecilius up against King. No good, in and out, but the rebound into the hands of Kinnear, who's able to tip it over to Baitlin. To DeGrasse. A little back and forth now. Shoulder down, drive all the way in for Riley Crecilius, and that's going to force a Cougar timeout. Lake Forest brings it within two in the first almost 2 minutes of the first minute of this second half.
Yeah, Coach Lauren visibly frustrated, and for good reason so far. They've already allowed 3 offensive rebounds a minute and 9 seconds into the second half. That's more than they allowed in the entire first half overall. So, I mean, we're going to see what they're kind of going to bring out of this timeout, because clearly there's obviously a lot of frustration amongst the coaching staff right now with how they've started this third quarter, but we'll see if that kind of gets them fired up a little bit more and ready to kind of grit their teeth and do some of the hard-nosed, blue-collar work that they're going to need to do if they want to win this one.
And looking at these two teams historically this season, it's interesting to note that Lake Forest typically does come out of the half pretty hot. It is their second highest scoring quarter on average. Compared to the Cougars, it's one of their lowest scoring quarters. So seeing this kind of difference in the game right now, it's not surprising when you look at the statistical facts. But for the Cougars to be able to keep that momentum that they've carried through the entirety of the first half, they're going to need to try to eliminate that little bit of a scoring deficit. Yeah. As Yone Mera looks to get things inside quickly. King able to put first points up on the board for the Cougars this half.
Yeah, and Grace King's been their rock so far this year. Just whenever there's any question of momentum, she's right there to make and there she is again, find another big stop right there after getting that bucket on the other end.
Grace King, she's been a key for the CUC squad, as you were saying, a sophomore this year, named captain earlier this season, and it just shows the kind of leadership style and the potential that she brings to this team, as the double team efforts there for the Foresters result in a foul. So looks like the game plan here for Lake Forest is going to be shut down Yone Mera here in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we kind of see is Yone Mera is obviously the one scoring all the points for the Cougs so far, but I really do think a lot of it runs through Grace King in the middle. She's by far the most vocal player on that court at all times.
Absolutely. As Holiday has a wide open three. She takes it. No good. Off back iron. Rebound goes to DeGrasse. Forster's moving quickly up the floor. Baitlin met by Yonemera. DeGrasse now on the wing. Turns the corner. Looks for the ball inside. Springstead, Yonemera tied up. And that's going to keep the ball with the Foresters. 17 on the shot clock.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of extra oomph behind that one for Yonemera, as last time she was in that kind of spot, she ended up getting called for a foul, so making sure that one's called as a jump ball.
Inbound to Crecilius. Kick out to Baitlin. Takes the screen, looks for the feed back to Crecilius, met by Grace King, who ties up the ball and ends up stealing it and collects the foul. Grace King, we've talked about her so far to start this second half, just the heart and the hustle of this CUC team, proving time and time again with another play just like that. Cougars looking to break this press here, moving quickly up the floor. The kick over to Holiday. Pulls it back out for Lopez. Yonemera on the wing. Drives in. Kicks out to Lopez. Lopez's three off the mark. Yonemera collects it, stays inbounds. Fresh 20 for the Cougars. King battling inside. And Yonemera's shot is going to be met with a foul. And that's going to put Yonemera at the line for two.
I think one of the interesting things that the Cougars have had so far that you kind of see a lot this year too is when they find themselves going to break a press. Usually one of the common rewards of breaking the press cleanly is you find yourself getting a free, easy look on the other end of some kind of advantage, whether it's a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2. When the Cougars find a way to break the press, it's often kind of met with just kind of easing off and getting into their offensive set instead of getting that kind of transition bucket.
And it's interesting to note that, Dave, because the last time we saw the Cougars at home, they were playing North Central College, and we saw, statistically speaking, that the Cougars were better in transition than they were in their set offense. And so seeing them not take advantage of that today has been interesting, as a long three from Dykstra, no good. They're going to say that hit out of play, so a dead ball for the Foresters. A little bit of a weird turnover there, but Foresters coming back with the ball, no damage done. CUC leads 40-34. Baitlin bringing the ball down the floor for Lake Forest. DeGrasse has that one almost poked away by Yonemera. Tight defense from Yonemera. Kick over into the corner. Baseline drive, feed up to Crecilius. No good. Lopez with the rebound.
Obviously not the possession that Lake Forest was looking for, but really clean, crisp passing all around as almost everyone on that floor touched it for the Foresters.
A nice bucket from Grace King. She had the transition bucket. Instead, she fed the ball out and then got the ball back in the paint in a set position, and with some crafty footwork, finds her way to another 2 points on the board. Here's Baitlin, kicks it out to Ferreira Torlaba for three, and she's able to pick up a big-time three for the Foresters. Breaks the CUC 6-0 run. Yonemera's three, rejected by DeGrasse. Everybody in Geisman wanted a foul.
Yeah, I think that was less of a hand slap and more of an elbow swat. I mean, that one, I think if we have any form of challenging, I think the officials would be just laughing with us on that one, as that's a tough miss right there.
Either way, the inbound here, King has the ball, feeds it back to Yonemera. A redemption shot, no good, into the hands of DeGrasse. DeGrasse coming down. She's met with no defenders initially. Kicks it back out to Ferreira Torlaba. Inside look, no good for Vassal. Cougars coming down the floor now. Holiday taking her time. Hiding out behind the screen from King. Takes the ball inside, looks to split it out. A 3 for Grace King. In and out. Rebound to Dykstra. Kick back out to King. And the Cougars are slowing things down with a fresh 20 on the shot clock. Yone Mera met with 2 defenders. Finds a wide open Lopez in the corner. Lopez's 3, no good. Holiday with the rebound, up and no good. Rejected, but the ball's gonna stay with the Cougars. Lot of contact under the basket. But CUC a fresh 20 on the shot clock, inbound under the basket.
Yeah, they're definitely letting them play today if you weren't sure so far, but I mean, we'll see which team's able to kind of handle and make those adjustments as they really start letting them play a little bit more loosely.
Yone Mera set to inbound. Cougars have 4 wide. Ball up to Holiday. Looks to the corner for Yone Mera. She's going to take it no matter what. Into the hands of Grace King. Grace King's shot, no good, but collects the foul. So Grace King heading to the line for 2.
Yeah, I think if I'm Coach Lauren right now and I'm seeing how physical this game is getting, if there's any minutes to spare for Abby Kulik, she's my first thought as far as someone going in to kind of match that physicality.
King's first free throw is good, her first free throw of today. Cougars lead 43-37 here, under 5 to play. Second free throw, no good. It's going to go into the hands of Springstead. DeGrasse kicks over to Ferreira Torlaba. She's going to cut inside with some space, kicks out to DeGrasse, and that's going to be a turnover for the Foresters. A little bit of miscommunication there as both Vassell and DeGrasse kind of in that corner, didn't really know who was going to collect that ball. That's what resulted in that turnover. The 9th turnover for Lake Forest here tonight. High post look for King, no good. She gets it here, looks for the handoff, finds Jackson. Jackson into the same space as Yone Mera, but she's going to find her way to the hoop for 2. Nevaeh Jackson getting some things moving here.
Yeah, Jackson really good at finding a way to get to the rim on so many different ways and has a elite skill set at finishing at the rim as well.
DeGrasse at the top of the key here. She kicks over to Ferreira Torlaba. She's going to cut inside the paint. Kick out to Zamora. Zamora's 3, no good, back iron. Jackson with the rebound. Nevaeh Jackson taking it all on her own. Feeds out to Yone Mera. Slows things back down a little bit. Corner look for Pedraza. Out to Lopez. Yone Mera at the top of the key now. 10 on the shot clock. She takes a step back 3. Bingo, bango, bongo. Yone Mera. She's going to take whatever space she finds, and she's going to have her chance at it. Again, a little bit of a physical battle here as Hart loses the ball, goes down in the process. Jackson tries to collect the ball, but it's going to be out on the baseline with no true turnover there. That's going to leave the shot clock at 15 for Lake Forest.
I think officials trying to make sure that shot clock is up to snuff with the right time that they're looking for.
So they reset the shot clock to 19, 2:46 on the game clock. Hart inbounding on the baseline. She looks for Crecilius. Crecilius trying to take it in. Defended by King. Tight defense from Grace King. Feeds it back to Crecilius at the top. Has that ball poked away by Pedraza. Pedraza, a fantastic steal. Now she's got the option up and layup no good. She was trying to avoid some contact, and instead that's going to result in a missed layup there. Here come the Foresters. Dead ball on the wing. They look to feed Crecilius in. The kick out here to Zamora. She's going to try to look for that baseline drive, rejected by King. Bateland, high post look for Crecilius. The kick out for Hart. She takes a step back 3. No good. Jackson comes away with the ball. Jackson, a 1-on-3. She's going to take it all the way. And then they're going to collect the foul. Baitlin claiming she got all ball, but instead is going to get called for the foul.
Yeah,
and we're going to see a flurry of subs here.
That's just naturally going to be one of those that gets called every time. You kind of get off to the races. Everyone's in transition on the move, and the ball goes flying. It's just standard. Going to be getting 2 shots at the line.
Nevaeh Jackson at the free throw line here. She's 1 for 1 so far today. Her only appearance at the line was after an and one as she sinks this free throw here. Cougars on a 7-0 run currently, and they've forced 4 turnovers from the Foresters. As Jackson's second free throw is good. 50-37 here in favor of the Cougars as that one is intercepted by Yone Mera, and she's going to pick up the foul. That's just one of those unfortunate ones as Yone Mera was seeing that pass. She read it. She was making the play, and there was no malicious intent there from Springstead. She was also going for the ball, but Yone Mera just a step ahead collects it, and that's going to cause Springstead to get called for the foul.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we're thankful to get to see on Yone Mera's behalf, too, is she's really starting to blossom as a defender. Not that she wasn't already excellent, but you're starting to see more and more of not only is she playing elite defense, but now she's starting to bait the defense into kind of making those foolish passes that she's easily allowed to kind of make a play on and send her team the other way with it.
Yone Mera's first free throw up and good. Her second one as well. Jocelyn Chamas subbing in for Yone Mera. 52-37, under 2 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. DeGrasse bringing the ball down the floor for Lake Forest. Hands it off to Rosendahl. They kick over to Hart here. She's driving in. A step back rejected by Sophia Pedraza, collected by Kinnear. The long 3 for Rosendahl, no good. Jackson comes away with the ball. Sophia Pedraza playing some big-time defense, a 5'5 guard picking up a block on the three-point line. As Jackson's off-balance layup, a little out of control there, and that's going to put some numbers in position for Lake Forest. A little give-and-go action is good for Kinnear. Pedraza slowing things down for CUC, controlling the tempo. Under a minute here in the quarter. Looks like the Cougars are going to try to wind this one down a little bit. The horn screen, she looks to slip down the middle. Instead, she kicks out to Chamas. Chamas' 3, no good. And the rebound goes to DeGrasse. DeGrasse to Springstead, whose 3 is good. A much-needed bucket there. Springstead 2 for 2 from deep today. Brings us back within 10. 2-second difference on the shot clock and game clock here. King, the top of the key. Feeds over to Pedraza. Pedraza takes the baseline cut. She's going into traffic, and she's able to collect the foul. It's a high IQ play there. She takes that space, headed towards the baseline, and then engages that contact. She doesn't shy away. She's not looking for a fadeaway. Instead, she's going as full force as she can, and she's able to collect that foul.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the smooth moves right there, but now we'll have to see what Lake Forest wants to do on their end. CUC generous enough to give them 10.6 seconds, assuming Pedraza is able to make both free throws.
Some subs coming in on both sides as Pedraza sinks the first free throw. Pedraza's second one up and good, so 10.6. They inbound quickly. DeGrasse has the ball coming down. She's going all the way. She kicks out to Rodriguez. Rodriguez for 3. Bingo, she got it. Just as Lake Forest drew it up. Finding that option here on the near side. DeGrasse drawing every defender inside the paint and finding an open option on the wing. I mean, that's just some momentum needed right there for Lake Forest. But CUC still on top, 54-45 as we head to the final 10 minutes of play. Don't go anywhere, right here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, final 10 minutes of play. CUC on top 54-45. Lake Forest hitting a big-time three to end the third quarter. Kind of take a little bit of that momentum from CUC, but the Cougars really have a lot figured out here as we head to that final 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, Kayla. Very exciting last 10 minutes to come. And CUC's en route to potentially winning their first game of the year, and not only is that, it'll also be their first home win.
Holiday through traffic, up and good for two. Some fresh legs on the floor for the Cougars. Holiday, one of them. DeGrasse hands it over to Ferreira Torlaba. The kick rejected by Southern. 18 on the shot clock. Baitland coming back in for the Foresters, but they're going to actually send that with the Cougars.
Yeah, I think everybody on the floor was pretty comfortable saying that that was going to be Forester ball, but
yeah, I believe they're going to stop the game there. The shot clock did not reset on that change of possession. So shot clock and game clock both being reset. 9:30 to go, 30 on the shot clock. Kira Holiday inbounding the ball. Full court press here from Lake Forest. Yoni Mera trapped in the corner. She finds Chamas. Quick option there. And Holiday choosing to slow things down a little bit. A little push off, and they are going to get that. A little bit of a delay on the whistle, but a tough push off there from Ferreira Torlaba. She was trying to reject that screen. Kulig was pretty set, not moving, and instead of making her way around, she just tries to go right through her. Two-handed push to the chest. An easy call here for this near side official.
Yeah, we'll see if CUC can drop a nice out-of-bounds play here, give themselves an opportunity for a good bucket.
Yonemera trying to find somebody to bring the ball into. Kulig coming down. Holiday on the wing. She's dribbling around, looking for an option. Feeds it out to Yonemera. A deep three! Yonemera, no good, into the hands of Chamas, but she's going to be hit in the head. Ball ends up in the hands of Springstead. Chamas is still down, so numbers here for Lake Forest. DeGrasse over to Springstead, an easy two, and now officials able to stop the game for Chamas, who took a hard hit to the head. Athletic training staff coming out to take a look at her as we're going to get a quick sub. Chamas able to get up and walk off the floor on her own, which is always promising to see. Hannah Lopez checking in place of her. I think just some incidental contact to the head, both going up for a rebound, so not something that you want to see, but no malicious intent there from Springstead.
Yeah, just a couple players really aggressive, going for a rebound, nothing else. Nothing malicious, of course, just part of the game.
The feed in the paint for Kulig is no good. A soft jumper. And here come the Foresters. Baitland coming down the floor quick. Pulls it out, looking for the horns. Double screen, instead feeds it over. DeGrasse now. High post here for Crecilius. The turn and look for DeGrasse, no good. Rebound into the hands of Southern. Crecilius batted it around a little bit. Cougars coming down quick. Holiday looks to feed it into space for Southern. Southern stops with it. Yone Mera on the wing here. She's going to take it. The kick out to Lopez. Lopez for three. No good. And the rebound falls to the floor in between the two Foresters who are coming down the floor quick.
Yeah, I think CUC's really trying to slow it down with under 8 minutes left to go, almost trying to count these possessions down one at a time. As there's a huge offensive rebound right there in a bucket.
I mean, that's just all heart and hustle there from the Foresters, not quitting on the play. You had an air ball three, kept in bounds. No Cougars going for it, so the Foresters just staying locked in no matter what the circumstances. And that brings our score to 56-49 here as Yone Mera's crafty little shot, no good. Springstead with the rebound. Foresters coming down quick. DeGrasse over to Baitland. She's met by Kulig. Kulig trying to get the stop there, but Crecilius, she's able to find her way through traffic. Head coach of the Cougars, Lauren Martin, unhappy. She calls a timeout. A 6-0 run over the last minute and 45 for the Foresters. That's going to make this a 5-point game.
Yeah, a couple big shots right there. A whole lot of momentum by far for the Foresters right there as they kind of just got off to the races and never stopped running.
And we've seen both of these teams going on a little bit of a run here and there. We've seen the Cougars get hot. We've seen the Foresters get hot. And we've seen this scoring go one way and the other. And, you know, the Cougars ended the last quarter on a bit of a scoring run themselves. And here the Foresters are a 6-0 run in the last minute and 45. They're kind of taking some control here. And it really is going to come down to some of those heart and hustle plays that we're talking about. Foresters got some really good looks on their offensive end because they just didn't quit on a play that the Cougars just didn't seem to follow.
Absolutely. The other thing that the Foresters have going for them is they're always looking for that one extra pass. And when CUC finds himself out of position, just trying to catch up, they really can't afford to catch up when Lake Forest is kind of so clean on those passes, always kind of looking to get to the next man. And I think that's what's really been finding them a lot of success late in this game.
Cougars having arguably their strongest lineup back in the game. Lopez, Yonemera, Pedraza, Dykstra, and King. So looking to get some things moving here. Grace King, we've talked a lot about her today, being some of that heart and that hustle for the CUC team. Yonemera, she's obviously our leading scorer here today, 22 points coming into this quarter. So just looking to have your strongest lineup in and kind of break that little bit of a scoring drought for CUC. Pedraza here, she feeds Dykstra up top. Dykstra's three, no good front iron. Lopez able to collect it, a little bit off balance, but the Cougars stay with it. Pedraza cutting inside the paint. She's going to have a look off the glass and good. A much-needed bucket for the Cougars to break the scoring run for the Foresters.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of having that timeout right there. Really slows down the game, gives you a chance to kind of catch your breath, maybe get into a little bit of a set. Obviously, they missed their first look on that possession, but offensive rebounds are always going to be killer.
Trying to turn the corner there was Crecilius, guarded by King. She's not able to make it, but then Springstead coming in for the rebound, and she's going to get fouled by Lopez, make her way to the line.
Yeah, speaking of offensive rebounds right there, Springstead able to be on the cleanup crew right there, and it earns herself a couple free throws.
Springstead 5 for 6 at the free throw line here tonight. Her first one up and good. It makes that 6 for 7. 58-52 score in favor of CUC.
Yeah, currently 6 of 7 from the free throw line. We'll see if she can make it 7 of 8.
As her second free throw up and good. Full court press once again from the Foresters. Cougars moving quick. Pedraza's got plenty of space. She feeds over to King. King thought about pulling up. Instead, she's going to send it back out to Yone Mera, who slows things down. Pedraza directing traffic, looking for King in the high post. Rejected by Crecilius, but King able to collect it still. 10 on the shot clock. Yone Mera's going to have a three. No good. Dykstra with the rebound. King a little pull up from outside, and she's going to get fouled by Crecilius. A really aggressive battle here, as King is going to find her way to the free throw line. She's 1 for 2 here today. Forster's unhappy with that rebound, looking for that over-the-back call against Dykstra. King at the line here. First one up and good. King shooting 70% from the line this season, one of the top free throw shooters for the Cougars. Puts 2 in. Makes this a 7-point game. Dribbling into the paint, and she's going to get called for the 3-second call. Ferreira Torlaba getting called for the 3 seconds, and that's going to force Coach Tills to take a timeout.
Yeah, Lake Forest really kind of getting aggressive right there, maybe a little too sped up overall as they kind of found themselves in the paint and then didn't know what to do with it, and that's kind of how you get that 3-second violation.
Cougars doing a nice job of locking things down once the Foresters are finding their way into the paint, kind of collapsing in and not really giving her an option to find a kick out. And it really, that's what resulted in that 3-second violation, is she had no options because she was surrounded by Cougars. So continuing that aggressive and that fast-paced defense is going to be key for CUC if they want to continue on this trend.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what these final 5.5 minutes have to offer.
Looks like no subs for the Cougars, keeping that strong lineup out there for CUC. We talked a little bit about how this lineup has been working really well. King, Dykstra, Yonemera, Pedraza, and Lopez. But when you look at the stats sheet, statistically speaking, this is their strongest lineup. All of these Cougars, you're plus double digits when these 5 are on the floor, especially when they're on the floor together. So being able to utilize them in these final 5.5 minutes of this game is going to be key.
Yeah, I mean, they're repping 4 of their 5 starters, and Pedraza's no slouch herself.
The look at high post for Lopez, no good. Rebound goes to DeGrasse. DeGrasse coming down the floor fast. She pulls back, takes the screen on the left side, met by Dykstra. Takes the screen on the right side, met by Pedraza. Pedraza looking to get a little poke out of there. The kick out here for Ferreira Torlaba, rejected by Yonemera. Ball batted around a little bit. Still possession with the Foresters. Looking to tie it up, but Crecilius has that one up and in. That's just a strong play from Riley Crecilius.
Yeah, and she picks up her 17th point of the game. She's really been a pretty important integral piece for them so far today.
5-point lead for the Cougars. Yonemera here on the near side wing. Kicks out to Lopez. Has that one almost rejected by DeGrasse, but Pedraza able to keep it in. Shot clock at 5. The long feed for King. King collects it up, no good. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Lopez with the rebound. Yonemera once again at the top of the key. Kick over to Lopez. Lopez looking for the baseline drive. She finds Dykstra. Dykstra cutting inside. A little floater up and in for 2. Really good patience from the Cougars. Obviously bringing that first shot clock down to single digits, but staying with it, getting the offensive board, and then finding the good option there. Really worked in their favor.
I mean, it really was a huge possession. You burned off a ton of clock, and then you also got a bucket out of it. I think the Cougars would have been satisfied with either one of them, but they got them both.
DeGrasse looks to kick over. The cut inside for Springstead is good. Jamie Springstead having herself a night here.
As you see, there's more of that fluid passing with Lake Forest offense that they've kind of had going all night. Gives them so many easy buckets from inside the charge circle.
CUC really looking to slow things down a little bit here. King on the wing. Handoff to Yonemera. Double teamed. Pedraza in the corner. The kick out to Dykstra. No good. Rebound goes to Baitland. She's coming on the floor quick. She's going to go coast to coast. And that ball is going to get stuck, resulting in a jump ball. So possession is going to stay with Lake Forest. I mean, a coast-to-coast run being met with no defenders until you're at the block, something that just can't happen in these final few minutes of play.
As now CUC will have Holiday checking in for Lopez. We'll see how that impacts these final 3 minutes.
Under 3 minutes to play here inside Geisman. DeGrasse has the ball, and they're going to call King for the foul. DeGrasse looking to feed into Crecilius. King trying to get position there, and instead she's going to get called for the hook foul. So a fresh 20, baseline inbound here from Ferrara Torlaba. Crecilius here, back to Ferrara Torlaba, and that's going to be a kickball violation back under the baseline. Fresh 20 once again.
Yeah, I think at this point for CUC, it's all about protecting the paint. Don't allow any more touches inside the paint if they can help it. Got to be satisfied with any kind of jump shots as they're going to get one like that. That's kind of one of the fears that you have if you're CUC right now. Just when you had that 5-point lead that you were able to control with 2.5 left, you really just want to force them to really earn those kind of buckets. But now with it as a 3-point game, you're kind of lose that opportunity unless you get a bucket on the offensive end.
And something like that's just a little bit of an unfortunate situation. The Cougars got the tip on it, and then we're looking to try to move things quickly in transition, and instead that just resulted in a wide open look for the Foresters. And so the Cougars, now they're sitting in a tough situation. The Foresters calling this timeout to get themselves set. They know that they've got some momentum here. Their 5 of their last 7 field goals have been good, so they're just looking to continue that momentum here. And CUC, they're needing to score some points, but they also have to pick up some stops on the defensive end.
Absolutely.
2:39 to play here in the fourth quarter. CUC leads 62-59. If you're just now joining us today, I'm sorry, because this has been a fantastic game to watch. It's been a back-and-forth battle, and these two teams have not made it secure one way or the other. Lopez inbounding, full court pressure from Lake Forest. Yone Mera trying to get something moving. 5 on the clock before they can get across, and they do. Yeah, Holiday back over to Yone Mera. A little inside out, and she's able to get that. She's protecting that one.
Yeah, Yone Mera able to worm her way through the defenders on both sides of the court right there.
DeGrasse here. She feeds it up to Baitlin. Back over to DeGrasse. Yone Mera guarding her tight. The shot from Ferrara Torlaba, no good. Holiday with the rebound. She's moving quickly. Feeds it up to Lopez. Plenty of time and space. King pulling it back out. Foresters really, they're looking to overload on Yone Mera as King takes her shot at a 3, and it's good! Fire me up, Grace King! A big-time 3 with under 2 to play.
Now this is really when you got to slow it down if you're the Cougs right there.
Looks like they're going to call Holiday on the foul. And this is where we're talking about it. The fouls are going to come into play here. That's going to send, I believe, Ferrara Torlaba to the line for 2 free throws. And CUC, they're doing things on the offensive end to be productive, but they're not getting stops on the defensive end. And it's letting the Foresters stay in this game as that first free throw is up and good. So being able to translate that momentum from offense into defensive momentum is going to be key in the last minute and a half.
Absolutely. Defense isn't going to be naturally as flashy, but it's what you need to do if you want to win these kind of games. And right now they're making it very interesting on themselves when, in all actuality, they probably should be winning this game by about 10 to 15 more points.
Instead, we've got a 6-point game in the last minute and a half. Lopez bringing the ball up. Pedraza with it. They've got numbers if they move. Instead, they're going to slow things down, but a wide open layup for Dykstra. A little give and go. Pedraza, King, Dykstra for 2. Being able to capitalize on that full court press is going to be key, but defense is going to win games here as a jump ball sends things back down for the Cougars.
That's a huge turnover right there, and that's going to potentially put the Cougars in a much more comfortable spot now. Up 8 with only 73 ticks left.
Substitution for the Foresters as Rosendahl comes back in. The full court press here. A little give and go from Yone Mera back to Lopez. They're moving quickly, trying to capitalize on it again. Pedraza pulling things back. met with a little bump from Baitland, and that's going to get the foul call. Burning some time off of the clock. Forrester's really locking down. They're trying to double team any of the ball handlers at this point. Lopez inbounding the ball. Gets it to Yone Mera. Guarded by Ferreira Torralaba. 1 minute to play.
Yeah, now that they're inside those 20 seconds of that shot clock, probably going to just try to play clean defense the rest of the way here. No reason to reward CUC with any extra time.
Look out for Dykstra. She's going to take it inside, has some space, and up and in for two. Baitland bringing the ball down now. She feeds it up to Ferreira Torralaba. Forcers have to move quick. A little hook shot, no good, but they're going to get the foul call. 10-point lead for CUC, 38.8 seconds remaining. First free throw, no good. Ferreira Torralaba, 2 for 3 at the line today. 10-point lead for CUC. Second free throw is good. Full court pressure from the Foresters. Yone Mera inbounds it, gets the ball right back. A long heave to King. King up and layup no good. Batted around. Cougars pulling it back out. About a 10-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Pedraza, she's driving in. Pulls it back out, trying to slow things down. Avoiding the fouls looks like what they're doing. A little back and forth battle. The feed over to Dykstra. The corner three is good! Abby Dykstra's corner three secures that final dagger here as 5 seconds to play. Forster's just looking for any option as the final buzzer nears. And that's going to give CUC their first win of the season. A big-time 12-point victory for the Cougars on their home floor. A much-needed win before this Thanksgiving break. And it really comes down to taking care of the ball on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, not only is it their first win of the year, but it puts them in quite the spot to gain some momentum as they're heading right into conference play after they get back from Thanksgiving break. As we'll kind of mention how they're going to have to take on Edgewood on Edgewood's home turf. So we'll see how that looks. But talking about right now what we just witnessed, CUC's first win of the year, first home win of the year, really putting themselves in a strong spot after today's match.
And looking at the final few minutes of the game, the Cougars held the Foresters to no field goals in the last almost 3 minutes of play. It was a really impressive defensive showing. We had talked about it as we were nearing that last half of that quarter, that the defense was going to be really key. They needed to pick up some stops. They needed to stop the Foresters from scoring, and that's exactly what they did. They were able to get it done on the defensive end. And taking a look at some of these final stat lines here for CUC, I mean, you really kind of had all of it out there. Your top 5 on the floor to end the game. We talked about it as we were coming into the back half of that fourth quarter, but that lineup of King, Dykstra, Lopez, Yone Mera, and Pedraza, it really just worked well between the defensive stops that they were able to get and what they were able to do on the offensive momentum. It really secured that game for CUC.
Absolutely. I think one of the other things, too, when you think about it, is that they really have been putting the pieces together all year long, and it finally gives them the opportunity for their first win of the year. Very exciting.
So looking at some final stat lines today, leading for the Foresters, Springstead 19 points, 11 rebounds, a double-double there in just 29 minutes of play. Crecilius 17 points in 27 minutes of play, so some really good outings there from the Foresters. And again, we talked about it in that pregame show that the Foresters, they're missing one of their key players. And so being able to compete and make this a game all the way down to the final buzzer, it's impressive. They were able to find other ways to score. They were able to pick up the pieces where the need was, and it really helped them stay in this for as long as they were. Before we head to our post-game interview with head coach of the Cougars, Lauren Martin, let's take a look ahead. What's coming up for the Cougars, Dave?
Absolutely. We'll take a look over there. We got Edgewood coming up December 3rd. That'll be a Wednesday, the Wednesday following Thanksgiving break. It'll be at the Todd Ware Edge Dome in Madison, Wisconsin. So CUC kind of finding themselves on the road for their 4th game of the year, and then after that they'll come back home to play Rockford at home that Saturday, December 6th, for a little bit of a Gold Rush theme night. So it'll be exciting to see when we get a chance to see CUC back on their own home turf, but we'll have to wait a little bit of a weekend change, but they'll be staying busy all week long throughout that break.
So as we get ready, don't head out just yet. We're going to have a post-game interview with head coach of the Cougar women's basketball team, Coach Lauren Martin. We'll be right back on the Cougar Sports Network. Here with head coach of the Concordia women's basketball team, Coach Lauren Martin, after their first win of the season. Congratulations, Coach. What does it feel like to get your first win of the season right here on your home court?
It feels so good. I'm so happy for our team. I'm so glad to celebrate this with you. It was so great. Yeah, just a lot of excitement all around for our team.
Absolutely, and some of those pieces that led to this win today, you really had a lot of depth. You utilized a lot of players from your bench, but you really found your rhythm finally today with a lot of that lineup, and you were able to kind of move some pieces around, but securing that final lineup of Abby Dykstra, Ayone Mera, Hannah Lopez, Sophia Pedraza, and Grace King. I mean, that was one of the most solid lineups that you've had, and statistically speaking, you were plus double digits when you had those 5 on the floor at all times. What did it feel like to find that rhythm for those 5 today?
You know, it felt great. I think that Soph was somebody I was going to mention. So coming in here and getting some limited minutes in the last couple games, but just being ready, you know. We talked about games being non-linear, and each game just stepping up, and she was ready. And so within that group and what she did, just handling the ball down the stretch, and she's always in my ear, like, Coach, what are we doing, what are we doing, what are we doing? And that maturity really helps. And, you know, she's a goof, but at the same time, like, she's out here balling. So super happy with how everybody played together, and just feeling that at our home court before we go into Thanksgiving break. You know, the girls, we've been talking about how we have a lot of talent, and now putting that hard work and that talent in there. And I looked at them all at our last time out, and we talked about being in the same position how many other games now. And I said, I believe in you. You guys all believe in each other, and sure enough, they got the win.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it now, being in this position a couple times throughout this season where you have been in some really close games that have come down to these final stretches, and just seeing the team a little bit struggle to kind of finish that and kind of get over that little bit of a threshold, and seeing that here today. We talked about it on the broadcast. You guys are able to score. That's something that we've seen so far this season. We've seen a lot of players able to score, but getting it done on the defensive end as well, and picking up a stop where it's needed, and going after those balls that are loose on the ground, getting in there for a jump ball. Those are some of those hustle plays that we hadn't really seen entirely up to this point. And then today, in that final stretch, we're seeing that. What was that message to your team to be able to get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, the pregame message was all about how Lake Forest is a hardworking team. They're so hardworking, and hardworking teams are dangerous. And I said that, hey, if we just look at us, like, there's so much talent here, but how about like just a little extra effort? You know, how much further will that get us? And so seeing us dive on the ball on the floor after loose balls, tying people up. I mean, even Abby Kulik hasn't played in so long, comes in and gets her first block, and just adding a little extra defensive effort. You know, hands are off, they're pointing at other players, they're communicating, and you can see defensively, statistically, we keep getting better. So if we can keep trending that way, this team's gonna, you know, win a lot of games coming up, and we really needed this one moving forward. It's everything we need before going into break and going into conference play.
Absolutely, and I was actually going to touch on going into conference play and what that looks like for your team, because from where we were sitting in the broadcast booth today, we were seeing not only the players on the floor that were actively engaged and getting after it, but everybody on the bench, from the coaching staff to the players to even some fans sitting behind the bench and having that energy. How does that energy from everybody on the team carry over into starting conference play next week?
Well, you know, for us, we are so blessed, right? Like, we just have to think about the things we're grateful for. We've got 5 wonderful coaches on our staff. I mean, you know, 4 great coaches, and just the knowledge of the game. And like, our staff, we have a lot of fun together, and we try to teach them, like, you can have a lot of fun while you take things seriously. And so even from the beginning of the season, we talked about how hard work is funny because you can work so hard and you don't control when it pays off. And so knowing that if you just keep consistently hard working or doing the hard work, it is going to pay off, but you don't get to decide that. And so now knowing that, hey, we're grateful for the hard work we put in, we're grateful for each other, and then you see that culture on the bench and just that energy, like, what more can you ask for? You know, it's really great.
Absolutely. Well, CUC women's basketball picking up their first win of the season right here on their home court. Coach, congratulations once again. Heading into the Thanksgiving break this week, but then picking up right back where you guys have been. Conference play starting off. You're going to be on the road facing Edgewood next Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can find coverage for all of that and all things CUC women's basketball at cucougars.com. Signing off today, I'm Kayla McLeod, joined here by head coach Lauren Martin. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.